Okay, so you think for the greater good, it is important to pursue something that you don't want, even if that's going to make you and your family miserable, possibly.
Well, so this is loaded. Recognize how you said this, right? If it necessarily was going to make people's families miserable, how could it be for the greater good? That makes no sense. So if it was for the greater good, the most amount of people would find it useful, and the most amount of people would find this to be something which they would want to pursue, or it couldn't be for the greater good, right? It couldn't be.
I'm speaking of...
How could it? You know what I mean?
I mean, you were speaking about greater good, and the way I understood, you were speaking about a nation and perhaps even a world, how it would work better in a world. But then there are going to be those really unhappy families who just did this because that was the societal pressure. I mean, that's always going to be the case. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we're not going to... You would never in a million years, for instance, you would never say that there are going to be some people on planet Earth who perform better when they're doing drugs. There are. There's going to be some people who do. You would never say everybody should be able to do drugs because some people who do drugs perform better than others and have regrets they never did drugs. Does that even make sense? Would you ever say that in a million years?
Of course not. I don't think...
Of course not.
But I don't think drugs would affect anyone positively, to be honest with you.
No, wait a second. Caffeine doesn't affect people. Hang on. Wait, hang on. Caffeine and sugar doesn't affect people positively?
Oh, that's what I was about to say, unless you're talking about those things and like...
You mean drugs?
Like, do you mean something that was prescripted, or just you're going to go...
Even prescriptive as well. There's all sorts of, like, for instance, you think narcotics like painkillers, which are highly addictive, aren't highly useful to society? Of course they are. And so, like, this idea that, wait a second, because some people would have preferred to have been on those drugs, that we can't regulate or propagandize against them, that's insanity. It's the same thing at the national level. This idea of endless hedonism and individualism with absolutely no thought to the greater society at whole is pure female solipsism. Men seem to understand this very well, and the men I talk to go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We probably should move towards those things. But when you look at voting patterns, that's what those things move to. Patriotism, nuclear family, anti-degeneracy, that's what men vote for. Women vote purely around solipsism and let me do what I want, which is just crazy to me.
If everyone understands that this is the optimal option, why do you think, especially in this day and age, there's so many people who disagree with that?
Okay, I'm going to give you the answer, and you're not going to like it. For one reason only, because of women's suffrage. Women's suffrage absolutely destroyed the United States of America, and women's voting patterns prove it. And the truth of the matter is that women vote mostly against risk-taking. And because they vote mostly against risk-taking, they impede on people's freedoms. And so individual people, men especially, who had the opportunity to vote out illegal immigration, keep the country exactly how they wanted it to be, that was all completely destroyed by female suffrage. If only men had been able to vote in the United States of America, right now, the United States of America would be beyond the glorious shining example on the hill. It would be beyond that. And the voting patterns prove it. Every single time it's a vote for security over the freedom to actually pursue these higher values, women vote against it almost every single time.
Okay.
And that's what I think. I think that that's the primary problem. The primary problem is that the two sexes do not see eye to eye on what is valuable. Mm-hmm. And this is why I think that one's going to have to inevitably choose, and it'll always move back that way. That all of this, what you see before you right now with egalitarianism, this will all reset eventually, and it'll just go back to primitivism. Men will be in charge anyway.
Andrew, you're going to get canceled if you're talking like that, Andrew. You got to be careful. You're going to get canceled, my friend.
I don't think so. I've never actually, you know who knows this better than anybody? Feminist theorists know this better than anybody else. Feminists are the ones who came up with force doctrine. I just borrowed it from them. They were the ones who understood that men at any time collectively could take charge and there was very little women could do. Feminists theorized all of this. They knew all of this years and years before I was ever born, hundreds of years before I was born, in fact. Almost 200 years before, in fact. It's their own writings that I go off of. They insisted, the feminists insisted that women had the right to vote. But when it came to women voting for the right to vote, they wouldn't let them do it because every time women had the opportunity to vote on their own voting rights, they voted against it. Every single time.
I do have to move things on. We've been on this for a bit, but